for all of those who are already involved, you would know that UFun Club is a massive business that is made up of the following subsidiaries. There is the UFun Group, there is UFun Investment, within that there is the UFun Club, the UFun Store, UFun Property, UFun Charity, and there's also investments within the gold and U-bonus sector. And I will also go on to explain to you shortly about UFun Media and all the things that are happening with that as of late. So here's something that's very recent. UFun, as I mentioned, is a massive business, and they've recently signed a contract with this Chinese organization, Shaojin Marble Mining, and that was the Han Baiyu Marble Mining project. That contract on its own is worth $22 billion. In the next few months, that will come to fruition. The contract signing was held on the 26th of October, and over 10,000 people attended that, and we were lucky enough to be some of the people that were there. The reason I'm talking to you about this particular event is because it's just one of the aspects of the UFun business. They've also got recently Uway.tv, which is an internet TV channel. It's already online now and it's broadcasting in Chinese. If you type into your internet browser Uway.tv, you would be able to see that particular internet channel. There's also this partnership. Well, it's no longer being deemed a partnership, but it was a joint venture with Bina Puri, which was the Bangkok Marina Resorts and Spa. There have been some updates to that today in the last few days with regards to the fact that UFun has now solely purchased 100 units and are proceeding with that on their own, but I'll come to this part later. What all that shows you is that UFun has so many different fingers in so many different pies. They've got lots of different ventures in lots of different areas going on. This one being one of the front and foremost, e-commerce. This is the UBT Mall, U Barter Trade, and this is a website in which you can only pay for things with UTokens. So, you know, it's a very, very unique online platform because there's no other website around where you can just pay for something with digital currency. The long-term plans are for UFun to enter the London Stock Exchange or Nasdaq. The reason that UFun will be entering London Stock Exchange or Nasdaq is for the purpose of getting more trust from the public. It's obviously when you go into that kind of situation where you float the company, it generates huge amounts of revenue, huge amounts of capital for the company to proceed with future projects and future investments. And obviously it's seen as a sign of growth. And having sat with the UFun executive chairman very recently, we were told that the reason that UFun was doing this was to continue with its plans of domination and, you know, to continue with its global project of spreading internationally. So the reason that we're here today is the digital currency aspect of it. I said at the start of the presentation that I was going to give you a quick overview of the business model, and I've just done that with you. I've just shown you the various different aspects of the company. You know, they've got so many different things going on at the moment, but the thing at the very front of it all for us and the way that you can get involved is through the digital currency. And I'm going to talk to you about the digital currency today because this is what we are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. The digital currency is called the UToken, for all of you who aren't aware of what it is. The UToken, if people missed out on the digital currency called Bitcoin, that was the digital currency that launched the revolution of cryptocurrencies, of currencies that exist only within the sphere of the internet. Bitcoin was a phenomenon over the last few years. It was a bit of a pipe dream when it was launched, and it far exceeded expectations. And now here we are with the UToken, which is a digital currency that has been launched by UFun Club. And the UToken is basically, in my opinion, doing all the things that the Bitcoin failed to do. It's going to capitalize on all of the aspects that the Bitcoin was not able to do. The reasons for that is, as you can see from this, the Bitcoin has been around for 5 years, while the UToken has not even been around a year. UToken was actually launched in March of this year. Bitcoin has no management structure, which is its main downfall, in my opinion, and it only has a virtual jurisdiction. UToken, on the other hand, has a head office, it has global offices all over the world, and it has an amazing management structure. People are day in, day out working on how we are going to get the UToken integrated into normal society. Bitcoin is not available with any operator commodities. It doesn't have its own dedicated services. The UToken, as I just mentioned, has the UBT mall. Bitcoin was only available to be used online. The UToken warehouse is being used online and offline. Bitcoin was only network technology, but UToken is being spread online to offline. You can go and pay for something using a UToken, and the UTokens are transferred to the person that you're buying your goods from. So that's online to offline. And there's also an MLM aspect attached to it, which we'll talk about later in this presentation. In the first year of Bitcoin's existence, there was zero growth. It didn't grow at all. It was just establishing itself, and people were understanding the concept. Because of the fact that Bitcoin exists already, and because of the fact that UToken has such a good structure around it, in the first year, UToken has grown at a rate of 600%. And again, something that I mentioned earlier in this webinar, UToken has the benefit of having lots of different things going on within the company. Like I said, there's gold, there's property, real estate, there's marble mining contracts, there's TV, there's media. While Bitcoin existed on its own, Bitcoin didn't have anything else going on, so it stood alone, which is one of the reasons why it's come to the standstill point that it has. Okay, so here is a reflection of where we stand today with the UToken. As of today, the 16th of November, UToken is valued at 11.4 cents. What does that mean? Well, 28th of October, the price per UToken was 10 cents. In that 2.5 weeks, it has grown at a rate of 14%. When the price reaches $1, that will be a 900% increase, in a 900% growth. It's the only digital currency around which is backed up by a reserve fund. What a reserve fund means is that 22% of the value of each UToken when it is bought is put into this reserve fund. This is in accordance with Basel guidelines in Switzerland to make sure that everything is done over and above board, and to make sure that we are complying with all legislation and regulation. UFun want this to be seen as the best and most commonly used digital currency out there. So, we're adhering to all practices, we're adhering to everything that we can do to make sure that things are done properly. I'm just going to take a little bit of a pause there to make sure that everything's going okay in the room, because I can't see everything at the same time. If anyone's got any problems, if any people can't hear you, then has anybody got anything that they would like to say at this stage, or should I continue with the presentation? We're all learning together, folks. This is my very, very first webinar presentation as well. So again, thanks for your patience and thanks for being here with us. Okay, we'll carry on there then. Okay, I'll carry on with mine. Brilliant. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate that. I'll just use this quickly to say thank you to everyone again. Okay, so if I carry on from where we were a minute ago, our projections are that, oops, by March or April of 2015, we'll be at a stage where the UToken price reaches $1. Okay? Now, I'm going to come back to this slide. It comes up again later, so it'll be more relevant when I come back to it shortly. Just keep that date in mind. With regards to the UToken, it is a passive income. You do not have to do anything to earn. All you do is you buy a number of UTokens and you watch the price increase. The more UTokens that you own, the more money that you will make. And you can withdraw that money at any time as the profit comes in, or you can let it accumulate and withdraw it at the end. Okay, and so I'm going to give you a couple of examples here, and these are some examples which often get missed, so I'm going to show you some interesting things here. If you own, for example, 30,000 tokens in your portfolio, okay, when the price goes up 1%, if it's at 10 cents, 1% means the price goes up from 0.10 to 0.101. At that point, you would make $30 on that 0.001 price rise. You would make $30, okay? Now, what people don't realize is that when the price is 20 cents, a 1% price increase means that the price goes from 0.20 to 0.202, which is then a price increase of 0.002. In that situation, if you had 30,000 tokens, you would make $60. Is that all crystal clear? Similarly, if we were looking at when the price reaches 30 cents, a 1% increase in that situation means the price rises by 0.003. And in that situation, you would make $90. Now, the reason I've shown you these examples is also to show you that I mentioned a few slides back that in the last few weeks, 2.5 weeks, it grew 14% because we've seen the price go from 10 to 11.4. What I wanted to mention to you was that once the price hits 20 cents, it's going to grow faster because every time we go up by 2, not 1. And then similarly, when we get to 30 cents, the price goes up by 0.003. So the reason I was showing you these slides was to show you that once we get to 20, then 30, then 40 cents, then 50 cents, the growth starts becoming more aggressive. So as we grow towards the dollar, we start doing it a lot faster. So that's something for you to all bear in mind when you're talking to prospects, that, at the moment it has been 14% in 2 weeks, but that will start to grow even faster and faster. And every time the price goes up, you stand to make more money. Okay, so I'm going to bring you some insider information now. For those of you who aren't aware of this, recently the UToken price did reach the $1 mark. At that point, the company split the tokens. And what split means is that the price went down to 10 cents and every member was given 10 times the denomination. So if you had 1,000 tokens, you now have 10,000 tokens. And this was not the first time this year that the company had done this split. It had done it earlier in the year, a long time before I was even involved. And it's been hugely beneficial to people. So with the same basis, if you had 1,000 tokens that was worth $1 each, your portfolio was worth $1,000. You now, after the split, had 10,000 tokens that were worth 10 cents each, but the value was still exactly the same, $1,000. But When the token price climbs back up to $1, 10,000 tokens are now worth $10,000. So effectively, you can see how your portfolio's value has increased as the time's gone on. Okay, so what we're basically looking for is when March and April rolls around and we get to that $1 mark, you take a look at the tokens that you've got now, or take a look at the tokens that you're about to buy, and you will be able to see what your tokens will be worth in the coming few months. Now, the reason that they do this is under the advisement of the Chinese bankers who are involved with the day-to-day running of UFun. And the reason that they do it is to keep UToken as a currency. We want UToken to remain as a digital currency, and the purpose of a currency is to buy and sell things, to trade with. The problem with Bitcoin is that the price went up so high that it stopped being a currency and it is now seen as an asset. Well, UFun don't want that with the UToken. We want to be in a position of buying and selling things, and for it to be used for goods and services, and that is called market naturalization, bringing the price down to make sure it remains competitive and make sure it remains as a currency. So once again, I'm coming back to that slide of by March and April, we're going to be looking at the $1 mark. And it's not that far away, folks. We're only looking at another 4 or 5 months tops to get to that $1 mark. So take a look at the number of tokens you've got, and basically that would be the value of your portfolio of tokens at that time. So when the price reaches $1, this is some really, really insider information. When the price reaches $1, UFun are going to split again. And this is how they've created 100 millionaires in less than 1 year. When the price reaches $1, if you have a look now, if you've got 10,000 tokens, when they split again, that's going to be 100,000 tokens. So when the price reaches $1 for the second time, your portfolio will be worth 100,000 effectively. I hope that was clear. If you've got, and if anything's not clear, just make a note of it and we'll do our best to answer the questions at the end for you. Remember, UFun want to keep the UToken as a currency. Online, you can use the UToken on the UBT Mall, and offline, in Asia, they are already using the UToken. It's widespread. And offline globally, we hope that within the near future, especially in the West, in England and in the USA and in Canada and Australia and all the other parts of the world, we hope that we'll be in a position that we'll be able to use the UToken all over the place. These are some examples that I've pulled off the internet, pulled off Facebook, to show you what people have been doing with UTokens in Asia. This chap bought his Audi. That's a lovely, I think that's an S5 Audi there. He bought that. That was just a few days ago in Kuala Lumpur. That was 11th of the 11th. So what, 5 days ago? And this is a shop. If you look at the top in the window, it says UTokens accepted here. Here's a medical center. This was a recent post by a great gentleman on Facebook called Andy, who posted about this. This medical center accepts UTokens now. And it just keeps going. This is a printing outlet. This is a woman with a small shack-style restaurant cafe, and she takes UTokens, and she's also selling UFun packages there. Very innovative. This is a camera shop and a technology shop that sells iPhones and GoPro cameras and things like that, and they're accepting UTokens. I think they're all the same place. This is a detox place in Phuket, Thailand. This is Kuala Lumpur International Airport. They take UTokens at this camera shop. So, a car care service where they service high-end cars. Look at that. Ferrari, BMW, Mercedes. They service your car and accept payment in UTokens. So For anybody that says, what is the value of a UToken? You can use UTokens to pay for things in Asia. And obviously, we hope, the plan is for that to be spread internationally in the future. And these are some older pictures. The reason I'm showing you these is because they're good examples. This chap here, Mr. Note, in Thailand, bartered 83 UTokens for this Mini Cooper. He's now got a Lamborghini, and we've seen it in person. So, that shows the growth he's had with UFun. And similarly, this Oyster Bar accepts UTokens. And this shop in Malaysia sells various different things, phone cases and mobile things, and they accept UTokens. A huge development in the last few days was the Air Asia, which is the biggest budget airline within Asia. They are now accepting flights. You can pay for flights with UTokens. That will be unveiled within the next few weeks. And obviously that's a huge development because you want something tangible to pay for with your UTokens as a currency. And this is the best example of what's coming in the next few weeks. Okay, so we were talking about UToken Price. These are not fancy slides, ladies and gentlemen. These are very, very simple slides I've done with bullet points to explain some of these concepts to you. I've just had a question there. I'll answer it quickly. Bill has asked, will it split every time it reaches $1? Bill, we were told by the executive chairman that yes, when it reaches $1, definitely for the next couple of times, they will split it. There is a possibility that in the next few, as the business develops, they may change that strategy. But at the moment, that's what they're going with. So hopefully that answers that for you. Keep it coming, keep the questions coming if you have any questions. Okay, so we're talking about the UToken price now. Watson, hiya Watson, you've just joined. Just to give you a brief recap, we're looking at the price of UToken at the moment. So how does the UToken price, how is it determined? UFun are no longer issuing new UTokens, okay? All the UTokens that are in circulation are already in circulation, okay? UFun is a strictly member-to-member platform. What that means is that if you've got a family member or a friend or an interested party, they cannot click on a referral link and go and join directly. They cannot go and join as a guest user, and they certainly can't buy UTokens without joining through yourself. Now, when a new member joins, I want you to use this as an example. When you bring in a new prospect and they buy their first package, when they buy UTokens, they are buying UTokens that another member somewhere within the structure of UFun is selling. Okay? I'll say that again. When a new member joins UFun and buys UTokens for the first time, they are buying tokens that an existing member is selling. The way that works is that UFun have a website called UToken KMS, and on the UToken KMS, you would go in and let's say you've got 1 million tokens and you want to sell a part of it or a portion of it at that day's price. You would go in and say, I want to sell this many tokens, and it gets added to the sale order. And I'll show you what that means. This is what a sale order looks like. Yesterday, 7.5 million people, which is there, wanted to sell their UTokens at 11.3. And yesterday, 15.9, so 16 million people almost, said that they were going to go and sell it at 11.4. You don't have to sell it at the existing rate. You can set it, 3 or 4% higher. So look, already 1.3 million people have listed UTokens to be sold at 11.8. And when the price reaches that, they will be the first 1.3 million tokens that are traded. Okay? Now, this was yesterday. And I've written there, when the sale order gets satisfied, the price goes up. Now, lo and behold, when I woke up this morning, the price had indeed gone up. And the price had gone up to 11.4. So I did the same thing again. Now, if you have a look yesterday, 16 million, 15.9 million people were trying to sell at 11.4. Today, with the price going up, that's now 24.2 million. Okay. Now, when that 24 million, if people stop listing at that price and all of those get sold, the price will then go up to 11.5. That's how the price is dictated. Okay. Now, this explains it a little bit more in the next slide. UToken price is totally dependent on supply and demand. Okay. What that means is when the demand is high, the price will go up. When a lot of people want it and a lot of people are trading, the price rises. When demand is low, the price will stay the same. The most beautiful thing I can say about this is that the price of UTokens will never go down. The price that you have bought at, you will not lose on that. The price is not going to go down. Okay, guys? Members cannot sell below the counter price. That means on the UTrade website, if the price is 11.4, you can't go down to 11.3. Okay? Now, I'm conscious of time, so let's keep moving. UToken price, the more activity that UFun does externally means more promotion of the brand, such as UATV announced a film deal in Taiwan. This leads to new members. This leads to more interest in UFun and UToken. Demand is high, the price keeps rising. So effectively, the more that UFun do outside, the more we benefit with the price going up. Here's a quick chart I pulled off. This just shows that since the 10th of the 11th, which was just a few days ago, the price has gone up steadily. And this shows you that on November the 14th, 74.5 million tokens were bought and sold. 74.5 million tokens. And that was not around any major announcements, not around any major news coming out, no deadlines, just an ordinary day, folks. Okay. Now, what makes UFun very unique is that most home businesses that you are involved with or have been involved with are very one-dimensional. They are MLM businesses. They're MLM businesses, and that's what they do. You know, they sell health products, they sell software, they sell training resources, whatever they do, advertising, whatever they do, they are just multi-level marketing businesses. The difference with UFun is that UFun is a massive international business, as you've seen with the media and the gold and the property and all the other things that it has going on, with an MLM aspect to it. The UToken aspect is the MLM aspect. And the way that it works is that it's a member-to-member platform. Like I said earlier, you cannot get involved directly. There are no direct referral links. You must be introduced by another member. In Asia, this has led to people lining outside doors to get involved. And effectively, what we've been told is that with UFun in Asia, you are the hunted, not the hunter. You're not putting your links up all over the place and hoping people bite. People are actually approaching you to try and get involved, because they see the potential of it. Now, you buy UToken packages from an existing member, and you recruit others to do the same. This is the MLM aspect of it. We've got about 15 minutes till 5 o'clock, so I will quickly go through the compensation plan aspect of it. This is the compensation plan as it is. As you can see down here on the left-hand side of the various packages, that's 1 star, that's 2 star, that's 3 star, 4 star, and 5 star. On this diagram here, the U points, these are what you get to buy UTokens with. For all the people who are already involved, this will make sense. For all the people who are thinking of joining, this is the value of UTokens that you will be able to buy with the various packages. And points value, which is this, is the points that each package is worth when it comes to calculating the commissions. Okay, for our examples, I'm going to assume that everybody is on this package, which is a 2-star package, and the points value of that is 800. Okay, so one thing to mention is that when you do come in, you do pay these amounts. 1-star is 575, 2-star is 1150 in dollars, 3-star is 5,750, 11,500 for the 4-star, and 57,500 for the 5-star. The reason for this is that UFun sets the exchange rate at 1.15, and this is why you end up paying the 15% extra for the package. Okay. So, example, like I said, with the compensation plan, you're on a 2-star package. So, you've got up to 8% commission direct and 8% commission development. Your direct referral bonus for bringing in someone on a 2-star package would be 8% of 800, so you would earn $64. I'll show you that on the compensation plan. 8% of the 800. If you brought somebody in at a 3-star, it would be 8% of 4,000. If you brought somebody in at a 5-star, it would be 8% of 40,000, because you are on a 2-star and this is what you're bringing somebody else in. Okay, so in that situation that I mentioned, you would get $64. All right, and then as a development bonus, you would also get $64 if you place that person on your weaker leg. Now, as I said, in this webinar, I'm more focusing on the UToken and the actual way that the price is dictated and the way that the passive income is. So I'm not going to spend as long on this part of it. There is a video that I've done on YouTube before which explains this in a bit more detail, or you can always just get in touch with me and I'll gladly explain it. So in that situation, you would earn $64. If you got both of those and you referred them and put them on your weaker leg, you would earn $128 because you would get 16%, 8% plus 8%. Of that $128, 70% would go in your cash wallet, in your bonus wallet, $89.60 that is, and you could withdraw that or allow that to accumulate. And 30% of it would go into U points. Now, as I mentioned earlier, U points are used to buy more U tokens. And in this example, 38.4 U points at today's rate would get you another 336 tokens. Now, 336 tokens might not seem like a lot, but when the price goes up to $1, that's another $336 that you made, really. So it's definitely worth bearing that in mind, and it all adds up, as they say. Okay. I should have mentioned the management bonus, which is this. Again, depending on which package you're on, determines how many levels deep you get. You always get 3%, but up to 7 levels. What that basically means is, if I bring Joe Bloggs in as my direct referral, and Joe Bloggs brings another 3 or 4 people in, every time Joe Bloggs brought that person in, I would be entitled to a management bonus, which is 3% of the points value. This is really powerful because if you bring in a few good recruiters, you only need to bring in 3 or 4 people. And if they are good at bringing people in, you could be benefiting for not actually doing any work. So it's another passive income, really. There's a lot of emphasis on teamwork within UFun. There's wonderful opportunities to earn through the downline building. The reason for that is it's a very unique binary. If I refer a new member, I can still keep them as my direct referral, but I can place them underneath you. Similarly, as your sponsor can go and buy another package and become your downline, which is something that is often happening in UFun as well. So it means that somebody brought you into the business. Now you're going to bring them back into the business in a different position and earn commission off them. It's a very, very unique binary. You can start on any package and upgrade as you progress. something I read yesterday, which was it's already in my mind, but I'm even more focused on it now. The aim is to get as many tokens as you can. The two ways to do that are to buy as many tokens as you can at the start, or build a big team and earn more U points and more cash bonuses and use those to buy more tokens. But the more tokens you have, the more money you're making in the long term. So where does all the money come from that UFun pays with? Every time someone joins, UFun is taking a percentage. UFun also takes 5% when you withdraw. When members trade UTokens, UFun takes a 1% commission. So in that example that I showed you, 79.4 million tokens were traded that day at the price of 11.3. That is $8.9 million worth of tokens, and 1% of that is 90,000. So on that day, effectively, UFund made $90,000 just for people trading tokens. UToken price, as I said, cannot fall. It will only rise, and members are not allowed to sell below the counter price. And again, I mentioned that 30% of your withdrawals are repurchased into tokens. This prevents anyone from crashing the market and cashing out all at once. And 70% goes into your cash wallet. And UFun also makes money from the UBT mall. So UFun is making money left, right, and center. It's a self-sustainable model. It's a digital currency combined with e-commerce, which is the future. As everybody knows, e-commerce is growing day by day, and digital currency is something that's going to become more and more prevalent in the coming years. Just in Asia alone, I've used this slide before, just in Asia alone, there are 4.5 billion people. 1 billion of those use the internet on a daily basis on their smartphone. So you can imagine, just in Asia alone, the population is dictating how fast UToken and UFun are growing. And obviously in the West, we are very new to this. It's a new concept over here. This is myself and my wife at UFun Tower very recently, just to prove to people that the building does exist and it is real and it is, there for anybody that wants to go and visit it. And like I said, the aim is to cover yourself with as many UTokens as possible. Welcome to the future. So in summary, you can earn from the UToken price rising, which is your passive income. You can earn from referring people into the business. You can earn from downline building, from your referrals, recruiting new people. You can spend your UTokens on the online platform ubtmall.com. UTokens are now accepted offline more and more over Asia. And this is a chance for you to be part of something from the ground up for life, and hopefully build something for your future. The time really is now. It's 11.4 cents the price today. The